So this video is going to walk you through some of the stuff that I've done for the Link program. I thought it would be easier just to put together a quick video to show you some of the stuff, and then you've always got to go back and reference to, and just because there's a number of things I did want to show you, I thought it would be easier than typing it out in an email. So after you're done watching this video, you can obviously click around and check out some of the stuff that I've done, but just so you can see where everything is, that's what this video is for. So to start, what I'm gonna start at the end sort of thing, and I'm gonna click on the link up here that says workshops, and I'm just gonna backdate this to January 29th 2011 and click show workshops, and scroll to the very last one in here that started on August 22nd. This is just a test one so that I can show you this stuff. And you'll see now that beside each program there's a couple of new links. One says attendance sheets, one says class list, one says attendance report. Clicking on each one of those will actually produce a PDF document based on some of the stuff that you had sent me. So so here's the attendance sheets one, and basically what it does is breaks it down into months, just in case your classes are running from one month to the next. But I think the best way to set this stuff will be up sort of all contained within a month, but nonetheless. So it gives you their benchmark level before they started this class, their number in the class, the student's name and their ID number, their gender, their status if it's something other than currently attending. I might even take that column out. Their phone number, and then the days of the month across the top, what their status for attendance was on each of those days, and then once a level has been input for the end of the class, what their level was. So you can see there's one in there for me, but not in for my wife. So anyways, that's those attendance sheet ones. That's set up so that if you print these out at the beginning of a class, all these will appear blank. So you could actually give it to an instructor and they could just mark the attendance right on the sheet, or they can go into the system and obviously update the attendance itself. Once that day has passed, it'll put out whatever the attendance status is. If the day has not yet come, it'll be blank so they can actually write something in it. So that's the attendance sheets one. I also put together this one called class list, and again it produces a PDF document. And what it basically will have is, again, their number in the class, their name and their phone number, their gender, country of origin, date of birth, who their emergency contact is, what that contact relationship is, the emergency contact's phone number or phone numbers, and if they have a counselor assigned to them within the Link program, who that counselor is. And then the last one, based off the stuff that Aaron had sent me, is the attendance report for it. Now this is going to be hard to see on the video. You'll be best just to produce this one for yourselves. I'm going to maybe magnify it quite a bit here. So again, the student's number, their surname, their given name, their gender, their IMM document number, their date of birth, their immigration category, the date they started with Link, so it's in there for me. Susan, it is not in there for because she's not checked off as an actual Link client, but if we were to check her off, her start date would appear there. Their Link level at entry, which I've got an error in. I need to fix that. That should be showing up with their Link level prior to the start of this class. The number of hours they're entitled to, the hours that they previously used, and that's previously used either within SODS or outside of SODS, and I'll show you where to input both those pieces of information. Current actual hours is the number of hours they've used in the current class. Their year-to-date hours, so that is obviously their current actual hours plus previously used hours. And then the balance of hours, which is just the entitled hours minus the year-to-date hours. This one, extra hours required, I'm not sure about. I need to ask you about. Percentage of attendance being calculated based on the current actual hours for that student as a percentage of the total hours available for the current class that they're in. then their current link level, so once they've completed that class, what is their link level? If they've used daycare spots, the number of daycare spots that were used, and if they've been exited, the date they were exited, and the reason. So that is all being produced through that link right there, attendance level report, or attendance report. I think we'll need to update that one, though. I have a feeling that report is supposed to be within a specific link level, not just a specific class. So if this is one specific class, it's a level 1 class. But if this person has a second level 1 class, I have a feeling that some of the fields in there need to reflect like hours at the previous level, not just within the current level. So I think we'll need to chat about that one, but I wanted to show you what I've done so far just so we have a sort of a starting place. Now, a couple of the fields in there are drawn from a few different places. The hours field, what it's basically doing is when you add a class now, at the very bottom there's this field that says hours to count per day. So basically it's just going to use that number of hours per day for each time the person is counted as attended. So that's one little bit of input that needs to be done. The other pieces, if I click on the enroll link, there's a link here attached to each person's participation in this class that says teacher's assessment. And if I click on that, there's a couple of new fields in here. There is child care used. Actually, let me close this one. I'm going to use my wife's here. So child care used, and you've got infant, junior, preschool, and senior. And I think I took this from Rod's, so if you need different categories, let me know, but I just figured I'll start with what they had. So check boxes beside each one, and then if there's more than one child attending preschool or junior or infant, you can input the number of children there. So if you recall from the report, it said Susan had 3 children using child care, so it counted 1 for infant because it was checked off, but there was no number input. And it counted 2 for preschool because it was checked off and there was a 2 input in there, so a total of 3. At the end of the course, what was their overall level, and those options in there, although I think we maybe need to change this now seeing the report that RN had sent. Broken down specifically, you've still got the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If this person should be counted as withdrawn, what date did they withdraw? And then the reason that they withdrew. And again, I took these reasons from one of those spreadsheets that RN had sent me, and then a place to make some notes as well. So if you sort of think about this teacher's assessment, it's stuff that happens during the actual class, right? The other place, though, that you need to input information, this may move depending on what we chat about. If I just take a look at these 2 students that are in this class, attaching it to Greg Lawton, if I look right in his registration information, at the very, very bottom, we have this entitled hours field. But I have a feeling this is going to have to move because I'm wondering if this entitled hours is entitled hours per level that the person can be enrolled in, not a total overall hours. So if it is per level, we'll need to move it, but if this person has X number of hours to complete as many levels as they can, then it's fine where it is. If it is per level, though, we will need to move it. And where it would move to would actually be in here in view all notes, right? It would wind up in here, so you could sort of input a note that says, here's the number of hours this person has for this specific level, and then the system can sort of figure it out from there. The other thing, though, that is in here, though, that you do need to be aware of is this one here, new hours accumulated outside of SODS. So if someone's accumulated hours in a place other than SODS, you need to input it so it can take that information and put it on that attendance report. So to do that, if you click on hours accumulated outside of SODS, you've got in the place to put in the number of hours that they've accumulated, a place to put in the agency or school's name where they did it, just for your own reference more than anything else, and a place for notes. The date is important because the way that link report is set up, it's smart enough to know and to look for hours they've accumulated outside of SODS prior to the end date of the specific class. So if they do some hours with you guys one month, go somewhere else and do some hours the following month, and then return to you the month after that. You can input the hours accumulated for the month that they were not with you, and then when you run the reports, it's smart enough to know to count those hours not for classes they had with you prior to the date that you input the note for, but to count them for classes they had with you after the date you put the note in for. So that note field is pretty important. That note has to reflect when those hours occurred, so that it knows which specific link attendance reports to count those hours towards or not. So anyways, having said all that, that's where everything kind of goes right now. I know we'll have to chat about some things and probably make a few changes, but I think the bones of it are there anyways. I'm working on right now that link monthly report that Aaron had sent, and I should have that done the next day or so. So when it's in, I'll send you a quick note, maybe put up another video if needed, just so you can understand where it's pulling that information from. Anyways, take a look at it, and like I said, I know Leanna is sending out an email to set up times for us to chat, but if you could, I was going to say if you could watch this video before then, but if you're hearing that message, you've obviously watched it, so forget that little part, but it'll give us at least a place to start from. Thanks very much.